Jeff, Pro Football Focus mock draft. They have the Browns taking Christian Barmore from Alabama with the 26th overall pick. That's another name that you see kind of tied to the Browns as you go further and further along this process. What do you know about him? What do you like about him? What do you see with him?
Yeah, and I think you're going to see more of that. He is the best defensive tackle in this class, and the fact that the Browns have a shot at getting the best defensive tackle in the class without having to move up from number 26, that sort of tells you that it's not a very good year to need defensive tackles. And if you can get the best one, that might just be the best value that the Browns could get with number 26. I like the pick. I've put him in a mock draft of my own at that point and got kind of mixed feedback on it. He is not a pass rusher, and I think that scares a lot of people. This is a guy who's going to get he's going to stumble into 2 or 3 sacks, but he's not ever going to be a guy that's going to scare quarterbacks. He's certainly not going to run down Lamar Jackson or anything like that. He's a really, really good, well-rounded football player, though. Very, very talented, very strong, very well coached, coming from Alabama. He understands what the offense is going to try to do to him. It's a smart pick, and like I said, I think it's something that we're going to see more of. The fact you can get the number 1 defensive tackle or the number 5 cornerback or the number 7 outside pass rusher. That's something that Andrew Berry is going to have to weigh, and the analytics would tell you in that case, I would take the guy who's the number 1 in his position because that's probably the safer bet there. Might not be the most immediate need and might not be the best fit, but he's a really darn good football player, and he would make the Browns better for a long time, and you have to strongly consider that.
Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind, just a redshirt sophomore as well, so he's a younger guy, so developmentally. Then in the second round, we talked about this guy, so I know you like him, Davis. I mean, if he is there in the second round, I think Andrew Berry's smiling.
You sprint to the lakefront and turn that card in. There's no question about that. There's some talk that Dallas is going to consider him at number 10 overall. So that sort of seems out of line now. That's the problem with doing mock drafts, and as somebody who does them frequently at this time of year, it can be tough to keep up with the ebbs and flows of who's up and who's down and all that. But that would be a wonderful fantasy that unfortunately it's not going to come true. But there's a lot of good players that the Browns are going to be looking at when they're picking on day 2 on Friday night. In the second and third round, they're going to get some guys that can step in right away and play. He would certainly be the best of anybody that you could possibly consider there. But I think the thought that going off-ball linebacker at that point is something that's a little bit more appealing than the Browns using a first-round pick on it. If you go on that thought process in the mock draft, Davis or another off-ball linebacker there, a guy like Barrow Browning from Ohio State certainly makes some sense there.